Hello, my name is Dan Johnson, and welcome back to the Who podcast. This month, we are back doing commentaries into 2022. This time, I am doing a commentary on Time of Angels, The Time of Angels, which is the Weeping Angel two-parter. And for my co-host this month, I have Amy, who may still be doing something.
Hello.
Oh no, she's back. So this is your first two-parter.
Right.
It's a pretty good one. This is your first two-parter. It's your first introduction to River Song, who I'm gonna keep quite vague for you, I think.
Yeah. I have no idea what. So
y-
yes.
Yes, because she's appeared before, but at this point, in terms of Matt Smith, this is the first time she's appeared. So there's a degree of you've never met this person before. But all you need to know is that their timelines, the Doctor and hers, are a bit muddled. And they don't always line up and stuff like that. So you kind of got to pay attention. But as we get further through the episodes, not just with this series, but this leads over many, many years. I mean, this came out in 2010. This didn't end till maybe 2016. 2016, 2015, ended around then. So yeah, we've got a lot to do, I suppose. Also, of course, pardon?
There's a lot to unpack.
A lot to unpack. Weeping Angels as well. I mean, I
Oh
think
yeah.
I think you've mentioned that you've seen the Weeping Angels and you know
Yeah.
of the Weeping Angels,
Yeah. Because
but you're
the
unsure on
only
what they are.
I ever had, yeah, the only memory I have as a kid was when I used to live in London, and we used to have the sofa near the TV, and there was a gap between the wall and the sofa before. And I remember my parents switching through the channels, and I saw the Weeping Angel move. I screamed and hid behind the sofa. And I was about 7, and that was literally before I met you. That was the only ever encounter I've ever had with Doctor Who.
I think that the Weeping Angels are one of the most iconic things of the newer Who. I'll have to see if they're quite effective here or not, though. Right. So this time, I should point out the difference that we've got over the last time. So for this year, I've got a new computer, so that's why I'm in this angle. But most importantly, we've both got discs this time. So I've used one of mine, and I've given Amy one of hers, one of my DVDs, so she can play them. After a bit of a kerfuffle, it's all working, and there shouldn't be any lag or anything like that. It should be pretty seamless and should just flow a lot better. Which is interesting. Which means that we can talk more about the episode and less about the whatever's going on in technically. So I need to get remote. Are you ready?
I'm at hand with remote.
You at handed with the remote.
I am.
Okay, so just before we start, then, anything that you remember? I know it's been many a month since we've filmed one of these, but
I
quickly, your thoughts on Doctor Who so far?
see. I can't really remember much, but I think when it starts playing, it all will kick back in.
You'll start to remember it as you go
So
through.
yeah.
I
So
I,
I
I do
right
have it
now.
written down somewhere, and I had a look at it just before we started filming. So what we've got is we have that you really like the 11th Hour, and you really liked Victory of the Daleks, which I was quite surprised by. But your
Yeah.
least favorite was actually Beast, the Beast Below, the one with like the future Earth and the
Yeah.
creature
Well,
that, yeah, that
yeah.
one you didn't take to that one much.
Yeah. You remind me.
Yes, he's coming back a bit now, is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Coming back.
last time it was
Right.
Daleks in World War Two, and yeah, World War One, no, World
Right.
War Two.
You're down with the Matrix coming back.
Is it? Okay, are you ready?
Really shit joke. Right.
I hardly heard it.
Oh,
To
I
be
said
honest.
it's like you're down with dementia. It's coming back to me. It's just got really quiet. It was a good joke. No, do you not approve?
That's not Coke. by the way. I just want to point out that what I was drinking was not Coke. And I might need to drink it a few more times before we finish tonight. Right. So on the count of 3 then. So
Right.
3, 2, 1, press.
Yeah.
Okay. So 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
For a second, I was scared because I think I hit the wrong bit. I
Oh.
went for the television. I should have gone for the player and quickly had to move over and press.
Right, I've got a bloke spinning around with fucking lipstick on his face.
He has got lipstick on his face. He's completely dazed.
Oh, I recognise the actor.
Do you? Oh, no.
Yeah.
I can't remember his name. I don't. It's not Timothy Dalton. I know it full well. It's not Timothy Dalton, but part of me is thinking it's Timothy Dalton. Oh no, he's not. It's just because he's wearing a suit. I think he's James Bond.
Pew pew.
Pew pew. I think I can hear your television ever so slightly. Because I think you're slightly ahead of me. Okay. Error in pressing, I suppose. Just turn your TV down slightly. I can hear everything. Yeah, just turn it down slightly. That's better. There we go. I can't hear as much now. We got it. It's a teething process. It's a teething process. He's just getting picked up a lot.
I've got subtitles now as well.
Right. Okay. Lovely. Yeah. I like how this set is supposed to be like a museum, but it's clearly just a church that they've just filled with things like props. I think that this kind of stuff is. Pardon?
Sorry.
What did you just shout? Hang on a second. Hang on a bleeding second. That's not Gallifreyan. Unless, of course, that's like a different, like ancient. I mean, I don't even pretend to understand Gallifreyan lore, but.
No.
No. I literally thought you just became a cat then. I thought you went meow. Quick, run away. It's definitely not a church.
Oh, James Bond man's coming.
Ugh.
Do recognise him, I don't know why.
Oh, yes. I'm sure he's been in something. He's probably one of those actors. Because Doctor Who will get big actors like this and they will put them in small roles. Like John Cleese is one. He's in like one scene as like a cameo role. And
just so they can say they've had a good actor on.
Yeah. And it's like Lee Mack. He was in Doctor Who a couple of years ago. He's in it. His character's hardly anyone special, hardly has anything to do with it. Basically gets killed in the first like 10 minutes, but he's in it and he's in a lot of the trailers for it and he's like put down as like a special guest, but he's hardly in it. Right. Hang on, what? Wait till she runs and then make it look like an execution.
Yeet.
Yeet.
I had to. I was scared, but I had to do it.
It is a little bit of a yeet. I'm pretty sure I've seen that edit at some point. Or something similar. Oh God, I don't know whether that TARDIS looks very good now.
Meow, 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 meow. I would like to know if I had a quid for every time you've heard the Doctor Who theme tune, I would be a billion gazillionaire.
I mean, you'd probably have about £4 at this point.
That's true, exactly. That's what I mean. Nothing
Yeah,
matched your bazillion though.
I imagine it's be very high. I don't know. I wouldn't want to think, to be honest, how much I've seen it. So I have this app called just as the credits come towards an end,
Sorry.
especially so I've got an app, right? It's called TV Time, and it lets you sort of track what you watch. So I've been tracking Doctor Who because I'm curious which ones I lean towards, like which era I lean towards more often than others. Just out of curiosity, really. But it's meant that I've had like track over the last year tracking of what each episode has had in terms of watching, and some of them I've watched like 4 or 5 times since COVID, so about a year. And it's like, I mean, it's 4 or 5 times, not a lot, but for an episode that's quite old and compared that, I mean, I wouldn't even say that I watch it that much. I don't watch all of it constantly. Because people have asked me, like, do you just kind of like spin through the same episode and things? I'm like, no. There's so much of it.
Analyze it more, don't you? Don't really watch them.
I don't need to analyze it anymore though. When I was sort of like when I was at school, maybe year 9, I kind of did do that. I went through and watched them all with it. But now it's like I watch them and I don't need to watch it. Like right now, I'm not really watching it, but I know what's going to happen at the end of this scene because I've seen it. I know this isn't related to the episode, but you in bed is an aesthetic that I don't think people watching this are expecting.
Hello, yeah, I'm fucking fun.
You in bed. Somebody's been working and then having to film this thing.
I'm a grafter, can I say?
I'm a grafter. Whovian at night, construction worker during the day.
Exactly. That's what I said. At work, in the day I dress like a bloke, and in the evening I turn into a woman.
And watch Doctor Who.
Yeah. Joiner in the day, bloody geek in the evening.
I don't think we've really talked about this yet, but TARDIS. What do you think about the TARDIS?
What, the interior?
Yeah.
Let me have a look. My pond moves. Oh god, that's setting my fucking OCD off.
What's that?
Just none of the colours match.
Yeah, it's a bit of a mess.
Bit all over the place. It's a bit like a hoarder's garden.
I think, and that's kind of the intention with this TARDIS, though, is for it to be flipping mental, because a lot of them have been before it. Like there was like this kind of rustic, almost organic look to the last one, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna go full fairy tale." That's the kind of key word. The theme within this series really is all about fairy tale. It's all about bright colors and sort of fantasy. Like I think the way that they light the TARDIS though is much better. Although it's quite clear that this was the first one they filmed. Because they're not quite sure how to light the TARDIS yet. Because you probably can't tell, but I can tell that this is lit slightly differently from how they normally light it. But I mean, in the past, it would be dreadful. Like the entire the first series, it's just really dark or it's really bright, and there's no sort of in between. Like there's one of my favorite episodes, which is a Simon Two-Fighter, has just this horrible scene when David Tennant's in the TARDIS and it's pitch. No, I'm thinking of the end of that series and the end of series 2, and it's this hugely emotional scene. He's basically pitch black. Like it's dark. It's not really well lit, and for something that could be so cool. So I'm glad they kind of went with that.
Yeah.
This one. Yeah. Yes, but this is in order. This was the first one they filmed. So this is Matt Smith being the Doctor for the first time. So I imagine there was a lot
Yeah.
of nerves behind doing this one.
Mm.
I mean, that's what makes two
Right.
partners quite interesting, I think. Though, is that there's a lot more riding on them because it's double the investment, double the time. I think you're slightly ahead of me, but did you notice the fly or the wasp or whatever that's just flown right
I didn't
past them?
notice it.
Oh, yes. Oh, I probably should sort of explain a little bit about what's happening because I'm talking over it a bit. I don't want you missing out. But currently, so the ship that we were on at the beginning of the episode where she jumped off, she yeeted herself out the airlock.
Oh yeah.
So this is the ship here that's crashed now, I believe. And
Sorry, I know that actor as well.
Ian Glenn, I believe, from Game of Thrones. I mean,
That's why.
that's all I've got so far. But yeah, Game of Thrones. But yeah, so this spaceship has crashed, and inside of the hold somewhere is something else, something different
So sorry,
that shouldn't be
that
there.
book
Yeah,
was like there was like what happened. That's not English. That book she just writes what happens in history.
No, she writes her. So that's kind of her way of keeping track of what the Doctor has seen of her yet, and what he hasn't, and what he knows.
Oh, okay.
So it's called River Song's Diary. He gave it to her in the future, and there was this whole beautiful thing actually because I watched it during Christmas about when a time traveler gives you a diary, he knows how many pages you need. So when she came towards the end of her diary, she realized that her time was running out, which I thought was interesting. I mean, it's a bit morbid, but I suppose that's life.
I still think about how the fact that the actors and actresses, when they do act, they're like this when they talk to each other. So you've got to fit them in the shot. But in real life, you wouldn't talk that close. You wouldn't stand that close to someone when you talk.
I don't know. It depends how good you are with personal space. I mean, I'm quite.
Well, you're like 4 foot away from me when we talk.
No, I think I get quite close to people sometimes because I speak quite quietly.
That's true.
So I do get close to them.
The amount of times at sixth form I had to go, what?
But like the way that he's currently leaning into her, like I would not be that close to anyone. Like
yeah, that. Like, they're like this.
Yeah, look at his neck; it's huge. You know. Yeah, there's something about Matt Smith in this episode that I think is quite odd. I think it's his hair.
Yeah.
I think that it's
I was
because
about to say he needed trim.
Yeah, it's because I don't. It's probably because they were still working with the costume. So it's probably why it looks slightly different. But
she's got hair up now. Oh, she's in army gear. I can't see her where she's gone. It's just a floating head. Hey, get the joke. No.
Oh, it took me a minute, but yeah, that's classic, isn't it?
Where'd it go? Where'd it come from? Where'd it go?
Don't blink. I'm slightly behind you. Don't blink. I mean, this episode. Now I can't remember if I'm right here, but if this episode is written by who I think it was written by, which is Toby Whitehouse, which might be wrong, but I think he had something to do with this one. Unless I have got vastly confused. But my point being that a lot of the ideas behind the angels, so when the angels first appeared, they didn't really have much lore behind them. And they were like a bit one note. They were like, if you blink while we're looking, like we can move and we can get you.
Yeah.
You know, they're time locked or time locked. Something like there's a word for it.
But what if people what says there's 3 people in the room?
Yeah.
Obviously everyone's gonna blink at different times.
Yeah. No, but it's I think okay, right. So there was the most recent one, most recent series did something like this, where there was a bunch of them sort of staring at it, and it was quite clear that there was the plot needed them to blink.
Mm.
I think this one probably does it better, but the whole like idea that you've got to keep your eyes at them is quite cool. But then again, like there was a woman in this Flux thing, the most recent series, and she like looks away from the door, and then it moves. So then she looks back, and it's moved again, and then she looks away again because she can't help but look away to open her door. So I just thought. So I think that this scene, I know you're slightly ahead, but this scene I think is beginning to set up laws that will even be mentioned now. Like the most recent series mentioned some of this stuff.
Yeah. So I'm just watching the clip of her movie.
See, the thing, because obviously you're just seeing some of these for the first time as well, is you're not picking up on some of the like more subtle lines. You know what I mean? The rambling, like the more that you kind of watch them, the more you pick up on the little details of what the Doctor's saying, like the little stories within the story.
Yeah. So the thing is with her then, with the statues, you've got to keep staring basically near it, don't you? So
Yeah.
when do they go away?
They don't.
You're gonna look away at one point, aren't you?
Yeah.
If she's stuck now, because if she moves away.
Yeah.
Why, mate?
I don't know whether you're going to find the whole River Song thing interesting or boring there. That's what I'm
hello.
fascinated about. Right. So that Weeping Angel clip is actually replaying the same 3 seconds or whatever over and over and over again.
It's only a screen though, so that's a problem.
So here's the first rule or the new law of the angels, which is about to be set up. I don't really want to just spoil it when it's about to happen.
Oh, don't say anything.
But yeah, there's going to be a new thing put in.
Oh, so yeah, it comes. Oh my god, that's CGI. Right.
Yeah, I mean, this thing's this is 12 years old.
Is it?
Yeah, came out in 2010.
Oh my god.
And
Good
the budget for this show has never been huge. Here we go. This is the law. I absolutely love the Weeping Angel sort of theme thing. The little sort of jumps. I like that.
Mm.
I mean, I'm
really stupid questions. They can kill you.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
So obviously when it inevitably becomes to her face.
Yeah.
When it gets to her, will it kill her?
Yeah. Well, okay. So in this one, it's slightly different, and some people don't like the way that they do it in this episode. But in the previous one, when they first appeared, they were doing. This is only their second appearance. They were doing. So the person that created the Angels became showrunner. So then he wanted to do Angel Story, obviously. But the Angels were based off the idea of sort of using like potential time energy and stuff. So they would send you back in time. So if they touched you, you'd go back in time. But they wrote that out in this one because these angels were like different angels, so that they didn't do that.
Yeah.
And that's your lore of the angels. Anything that isn't an image of the angel is actually an angel, or holds the image of an angel, which means that if you drew one, there's an angel on the paper.
What if you Googled it?
Same thing.
What are you drinking?
Coke.
Yeah.
It's a bit flat. Got it. I mean, that is some pause game, right?
Oh, hello.
Uh-huh.
Jesus Christ.
So they're about to enter a tomb, I believe.
Basically, don't look at any of them.
Yes. Oh. Mm. Something quite ominous about a cave, isn't there?
Mm.
A little bit worrying.
Definitely touch kids.
Pardon? I don't know what you just said.
She definitely touch kids. That's why she's in prison.
Right, that's what you think's happening.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that your so you've solved the mystery of River Song in in what 20 minutes flat?
Yeah. I'm better than the dog.
You've nailed that. Nail on the head, mate.
In the serious son. What is in her eye? No. Figure it out.
I think I like the idea of just
my God.
filling with eyes is it's quite creepy. Mm.
Yes, it was.
I did see that because I was looking on BBC iPlayer recently that versions of episodes are always edited slightly differently, which I never noticed the difference, to be honest. But apparently they are because I was looking and on my DVD, an episode is an hour and 15. It's called Voyage of the Damned. But on BBC on BBC iPlayer, it's an hour and 10. So
Oh,
I don't know. Yeah, so that might have also been an issue with our thing.
so
I
how long's this then? An hour and
about
10.
40 minutes.
Oh.
I presume that you've just seen her rub her eye.
Yeah, and the shit came out her eye.
Yeah. I mean, by the way, that's such an interesting effect. I have absolutely no idea how they've done that. I don't know about you, but I can't work out how they do that unless it's some kind of particle simulation.
Probably.
But they've done that before. They've done that recently as well.
Mm.
Yeah. That's I always hate when people get like injections and stuff in TV shows. Because right, so that it always happens in Doctor Who, I've noticed. There's never any blade on it.
Well, yeah, because
So they wouldn't want to do that on set. But they always seem to overreact to getting jabs.
like, ow, and you're like,
Yeah,
what?
it's like there's an episode that comes up later, and I just think that must have been a much worse jab for you to audibly go and, well, I mean, it's quite possibly that it is because it depends where you get jabbed, but there's one with like a hand and they get hit in the palms of the hands. I bet that would hurt. But then when she's getting done there, it's like do you know those things that people talk about where they hate it in films and things go when things don't quite work like they do in the real world, like when they call a doctors and they get to see the doctors the same day and stuff like that.
A nice pack on it, mate.
Pardon?
That's what they normally do at school, isn't it? Just put an ice pack on it.
Yeah, put an ice pack on it. My head's bleeding. I'm fine.
Broken my wrist.
Works with mental health as well, doesn't it?
Oh yeah.
Ice pack.
Oh, I'm really stressed out at the moment. I really shoot myself. Ice pack.
Ice pack. We've just got completely distracted then, haven't we? Talking about something else. Yeah, mate. I do think there's some irony. Oh, look at that one.
Bob.
This is why I have trust issues, by the way, in this scene. Come and see it. Got him. Yes. I'm. Are you not scared of the Weeping Angels ever so slightly? No. No. Well, I suppose not, but because you're no longer 7.
If their faces move, then yeah, that's true. And if their faces move, then maybe because it's a still image.
Honestly, I think it depends on how much you're into it as well. I don't think you can really jump scare while I'm talking at you, but
that's true.
Bob.
Sacred Bob. Scared Bob.
Sacred Bob. I think Bob is actually a religious name. I always find there's something quite innocent by the Doctor's first few episodes for some reason. There's some kind of it's like a sweet spot where they haven't quite put them down a they're still trying to get you to like this new Doctor, whether they're a little bit unsure whether you, so they don't really want to push the boundaries in whether you like them or not yet. So that
Yeah.
they're in a kind of sweet spot where it's like they are always looking after people and things. I mean, the Doctor does that all the time anyway, but I think they can always push it a little bit further. But I mean, that being said, they kind of pushed it a bit in episode 2. Roll credits. I don't think the silhouette of an angel has much effect, though. But hey,
Yeah, it's true.
I think that the angels are weird actually because they kind of have a silhouette, they have a look, but I don't think they have them. I don't think it matches as much as like a Cyberman or a Dalek.
Yeah, it's true.
But then again, you can always tell that it is a weeping angel. Little bit on for religion there. Bit of blasphemy. I don't think it's. Oh, I do think it's. I do think it's a bit of a strange choice in terms of costumes, because these guys are like a religious military group, right?
Yeah, they're not part of the army.
Yeah, but they've dressed them like army.
Yeah, see, I thought they were army.
They're supposed to be more of a church. So I mean, but obviously you need to have that sort of military aspect, I suppose, within it. And I think that they probably don't want to lean too much into the religious thing because it's a bit dangerous.
Yeah, I thought they knew that.
No, well,
every single one is a weak angel, but I thought they already knew that. But yeah, they
no,
are.
no, they didn't. No, it's very obvious to us as the audience that they are weeping angels, right? Because I mean, it's a story with a weeping angels. It's clear that these aren't going to be normal statues,
yeah.
but to them, they're walking around this tomb and they've just realized that everyone in all the statues, the species that it's based off should have 2 heads, and they only have 1. I don't know. It's a bit of a good reveal, but it's not like crazy reveal. I think it's just handled quite well, where it's enough where you can just go, I kind of forgive them because you need to have this cool aspect to the episode. It's more of a going, the angel, the statues aren't statues. The little run he just did. It's so odd. I distinctly remember this scene and kind of going like, oh, they're all angels. I was at the age where I kind of understood that like that's definitely where it was going, but then at the same time being like, oh my god, they're angels. So, and what I find quite interesting about weeping angels is that they're not actually statues; they're people. But they're standing still. So, and I mean that is an amazing makeup feat, but also an acting feat to stay so still that they are mistaken for statues consistently. You don't see like angels breathing or anything. I don't know about you, but I haven't got high hopes for Angel Bob. For Bob.
No. Sacred Bob's gonna die.
You think Bob might die?
Sacred Bob is gonna be.
Ah!
What?
Oh, stupidly, Bob was separated from the rest of the group.
Brilliant.
Oh, so it's
He
slightly.
did sound a little bit robotic.
Yeah,
didn't
I
he?
think
There was no emotion in his voice.
I think that he does have some really cool things coming later on. But yeah, obviously, I think a lot of it for me is that they use the same track every time he does something cool. Or like you probably don't notice it, but it's called "I Am the Doctor." Goes that dun 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 dun. That is always gets played when he talks, basically. So I think he's sort of trying to get the balance in this one. Bob's dead.
We knew that, though, didn't we?
We knew that, but he's using the voice in the voice box thing. But the dark thing about these angels, as it's just been mentioned, is they snap your neck now.
Yeah.
And that, I think, I didn't hear any of that. Zoom was having a freak out. Didn't pick up your voice properly. But yes. But I think that's quite dark for Doctor Who. Breaking necks and stuff. That is it. That is an excellent line. When you've flown away in your little blue box, I'll explain that to their families. What? Ian Glenn. Bum, ba, ba, bum, ba, ba, bum. Okay, I think we're coming towards the end of the episode now, I believe. Another thing that has been nicked and done recently. I think. Are you getting invested? Or is your earphone disconnected? Maybe. I'm going to go with earphone disconnected.
What?
Is your earphone disconnected or are you getting invested? Were you watching?
Readjusted.
You were watching. Wow, I never thought we'd hear that, to be honest. I can't believe it. So we're coming towards the cliffhanger now, by the way, obviously. So it's beginning to ramp up. Here we go. Okay, so we're getting very close to something very cool. I think this is it. Here we go.
Matt Smith's really good at doing the monologues.
He is, yeah. We'll see how well I. You're a lot further ahead than I thought. Bloody hell!
Oh,
If yours has just ended.
yeah.
I don't know how you've done that. I'm
Why?
right at the start of it. You must be have a
What do you
different.
mean?
You must have a different version. Or your frame rate might be quicker or slower or something like that, maybe. Right. Yes.
How many are we doing today?
I don't know. I haven't ended yet. It's weird. Right. I'm gonna try and recite the final speech because I tried to learn it at one point. I can't remember it, so I'm gonna try. We'll see how well I do.
Go on.
Right. Okay. Jump. Jump. What signal? What was it? I don't even know like the next line. I'm too caught up in the previous line. I'm basically talking. You know, if you are smart, if you value continued existence, if you have any plans about seeing tomorrow, there's one thing you never ever put in a trap. Me. That was Town of the Angels, and if you're seeing this, and I've decided to put the cameras in there, I look different now, and that is because this is a different week. I think it's been about 2 weeks since we watched the episode now. And originally, when we first recorded it, we have a lot of internet issues to the point where it kind of kicked you out in some respects, and it meant that we couldn't have an actual conversation. So obviously, it's been about 2 weeks since we saw it. And you say you can't really remember much, but so from what you said that the angels were pretty cool. You thought that they were a nice idea, right? If you remember, there was a scene.
Even you just saying angels is re fucking jogging my memory.
Is it working? And then
Keep talking about Doctor Who stuff.
Doctor Who stuff. Reverse the polarity of the neutron flow.
That was too many words that I don't understand. Try again.
Damn. So there was an image. So they're in like a tomb full of statues, stone statues.
Yeah, and she looked. Oh yeah. Oh crap! I've just touched my Xbox and it's moving. Yes, and Amy Gingerbitch got stuck in the room.
Excellent.
Got stuck in the room, and every time staring at the thing, it was moving closer, and then she held eye contact with it.
Yeah.
And the time, something about the time was staying the same. Time wasn't moving on, or was it going back?
It was repeating the same 3 seconds of footage.
Yes, that's it.
I'm surprised you remembered that. Yeah, it was replaying the same 3 seconds. Time hasn't stopped. It was replaying the same 3 seconds. And the rule that you learnt about the angel during that scene was that the angels. Yes, but yes, for me, the rule that you learn from this episode is that the image of an angel is always an angel. So that shot, that 3 second loop, was in fact an angel, which then perceived itself into real life, and then
It wasn't a photo; it was like a live stream.
yeah, it was. I think it was just it was on loop because it was like it was broken or something.
I get you. Yeah.
I'm not even entirely sure myself, but
something like.
yes. So there was the angel, the whole image of the angel thing, and it meant that Amy has an angel inside of her, so to speak.
Yeah.
So to speak. And that means that there's a couple
Haven't
of
we all?
interesting effects. I just
I'm
thought I'd
sorry.
gloss over that. Like, it doesn't quite work as an innuendo, so I just kind of went, but then
Haven't we all, Dan?
haven't we all?
Haven't
But
we all?
isn't there but there's the scene when she's like scratching her eye and then stone comes out and stuff. But you also have
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I remember that bit.
but you have a different thing, which I just that was this terrible sentence. You've got River Song. That's what I was going for. You've got River Song, who's someone you've never met before with big curly hair. No,
I have no idea what you're on about.
there's a woman there that's like a mystery to the Doctor.
Oh,
she's a bit mysterious.
Mysterious girl.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
She shall remain for a while, I believe.
Yeah.
So she clearly you don't remember much of River Song, but then should we come into the kind of the obvious bit, the bit that I think was your criticism for the episode, which is what the bit I remember most, was that you thought that the episode was, this being your first two-parter, was so much of a setup for the next part that this didn't really feel like an episode. It felt like it was the progression of getting into this tomb / cave and then spending the entire episode there until the time ran out in which they could do the cliffhanger. And the big reveal, which wasn't the big reveal, that the angels were the statues.
Yeah, I get you.
So
it did feel like that. Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, it did feel like that's what you said. Yes, but so I kind of agree with you, to be honest. Like, I didn't really realize it, but over the last few weeks, I've been sitting there going, actually, now I think about it, now that I look at it, not from the perspective that I seen part 2.
Yeah.
But because it's not a story I watch a lot, but as I step back from that part on its own and compare it to the other 3 that you've watched so far, it's very different. And to be honest, as a child, I do remember not being particularly a fan of it because I felt the same as you did towards it. Which is
then when you have a love and an interest for something, you're going to go look into it better, and you're going to think, okay, maybe it's not as bad as it is, because you understand that the story everything will have a reason to link.
Yes, like I think that this series is regarded as one of the best ones, which is why I've shown it to you originally. From this point, I don't know whether we're going to series 7, whether we'll dot around a bit, but series 6 rather, or dot around a bit. But we're nearly halfway through once we've done this next episode, and with that, I think that things are going to be changing a bit. Maybe in episode 8, so you've maybe got a couple left, but you've got some interesting developments and stuff that you're going to be interested to see how you react to it, because as a child, I think maybe I was involved in it quite a lot, and that's why I liked it. So I wonder if whether you're not as involved in it, whether it's going to bother you, or whether the story is so good by itself, being detached from Doctor Who, you still find it a good story. So that's my my interest in it, to be honest. So as we go through, but I know we're not doing any rankings or anything, but any scores, maybe we should. Maybe that would be a good idea at some point.
It's not how many? I'm just trying to remember. How many have I seen overall?
So you've seen 4.
I've seen 3.
You've seen
4.
You've seen 4. Yeah.
This would probably be my second to last favorite.
Second to last. Okay. So what was bottom? Was that Beast Below?
I'm trying to remember Trying to remember which one was a really bad one.
So, the one with the guys with the big grins, they're called Smilers, and they had hoods on, and it was on like a future Earth, which was in space with like an alien carrying it along. And the story is all about like the
That one
the
died.
moral choice of killing this alien, the last of its kind, or whether you
Oh
should
yeah.
let it keep going, being tortured and that kind of stuff. I got the sense you didn't like that episode when we watched it. But so at number one remains the 11th Hour, I suppose.
Yes, it does.
The first one that we
That
watched.
was a brilliant one for you to start me
Yes.
on.
So okay, so at the minute it stands at 11th Hour. Victory of the Daleks.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Then the one we just watched, which is Town of the Angels, and then the next one, or the last one rather, is The Beast Below.
Yeah.
I think we will start doing like not rankings, but I think we'll start doing
I know what you mean, like listing them.
scores instead of having to list them each week, each time we do it. But are you excited for part 2? Is my final question.
I want to know. Yeah, I want to know how they're going to link it all, and hopefully it gets better.
Okay, I'm interested. I'm kind of scared though that you're not going to like it.
Is it not gonna? You're scared? I'm not gonna live up to the expectation of what I'm thinking. Am I hyping up too much?
Yeah. I used to do that a lot. I think that there was a lot of part 2s that I hated compared to the part 1 that I loved. So
they drag it out, and sometimes you think there's a lot of. I think in the last one we just watched, there's a lot of scenes where I think you could have just cut that out.
I think we did mention it a few times that we could cut some stuff.
Yeah.
But
it was just to lengthen it out. I
think that the issue with doing the way that we were doing it is because originally I did intend to do it as we would do both episodes in one night.
Yeah, I know.
Sorry to ruin the magic of the whole how we do the podcast, but we were going to watch them both back to back originally, and then they'd come out in different months. But because of technical issues and all types of stuff, we decided not to.
It's fine to have another plan and just go, nope.
Yeah, bye.
You wanted to talk to your mate.
What are you talking about? You can't watch Doctor Who.
Yeah.
It's a Friday.
My fucking Xbox was my Zoom connection was saving me. I'm joking.
But we will have a few things fixed for the next time we do it anyway. As you can see today, we're about to go into the next part. So obviously you're quite excited. I'm definitely excited. But I'm afraid for you listening at home, it won't happen just yet. I've done a cliffhanger in the podcast, Amy. It's a meta shit.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yes. So thank you very much for listening. Hopefully you did enjoy the podcast this month. The commentary track's always really fun to do. Next time, I don't know whether we'll be going into Flesh and Stone, so it might be even a longer cliffhanger than you would do normally. But we shall be the next commentary track, maybe in 2 months' time, doing Flesh and Stone. So you can find the podcast on a whole bunch of platforms, including Spotify, Spreaker, Deezer, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts. There's a whole Linktree link below that has all of them in, so you can do it all there. And I even have like a highlight channel that I'm trying to do something with at the minute, because I haven't posted on it in a few months because I was just regurgitating episodes on there and I didn't want to do that. I wanted to get the clips down there instead. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and we shall see you soon. Goodbye.
Bye.